Hi guys! Sorry it's been so long since the last time we talked. It's just been a roller coaster up and down for me lately. So, in our last episode of Sick Girl Chronicles, we talked about me turning into a cheetah, which the doctor was correct that didn't come back, so that's great. But let's go ahead into more in my past of sick issues. My freshman year of college, the first time I had a vomiting spell was during the weekend of the Hunger Games premiere. And I remember because my roommate at the time, her mom was visiting and she was concerned, so she brought me some soup. And I was feeling better, so I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, I'm feeling better. So I started moving and doing some things. I even went to do my church member's hair and still made it to the Hunger Games premiere. And it wasn't until I got to the movie that I realized that I was still probably should have rested some more. And I had my favorite movie snack, which was a frozen Coke and popcorn. And in the climax of the movie, I felt the urge to have to throw up. And the plus side is because we made it late to the movie, we were in the very front of the movie close to the screen, so I didn't have to run down any stairs or anything. But I still had to run to the restroom, and I didn't make it in time, so I threw up all over my white pants. And no one knew though, so I had my jacket because it's normally cold in the theater, and I tied my jacket around my pants and made it through the rest of the movie, made it home without anyone knowing other than me that I threw up over myself. Shortly after that, I hadn't didn't have any more spells my freshman year, so I really thought it was something that I ate. My sophomore year, after going out to eat with my roommates, I go to sleep, get some rest, and wake up at 3 a.m. Now, I never wake up in the middle of the night. I normally stay asleep for my whole 8 hours. But this time was weird. My body was burning like it was on fire. And 10 minutes into the body burning, I feel the urge to have to throw up. I run to the bathroom and I'm throwing up everything I ate. And my roommate, who lives right next door to my room, can hear me because the bathroom's in between our rooms. And then on the other side, there's a living room in between where my other roommate stayed, and she could hear me too. So it turned into this thing like, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And they were like, "What was it? What you ate?" Which was weird because we all had the same food and they were fine. And so they were really concerned. And the next day, they made me go to the CVS clinic, which unfortunately, CVS clinics nor Walgreens clinics at the time dealt with stomach issues. So I had to go back home and figure out a regimen for me. And what I would do was turn into a routine and how I coped with having random stomach spells every 6 to 8 months, which was um, any type of caffeinated drink, whether it was a Coca-Cola or a Mountain Dew, and I would either have like sour worm, sour octopus, something would that could take over the soothing of the nausea and the headache. But um, they were very concerned. But when I got back home, nothing ever happened. So I never thought anything of it because I didn't have those random spells as much as I did at school when it seemed like it was important. Then flash forward to August 2016, right before I go to Miami with a group of friends, I get really nauseous in the stomach. And I didn't think anything of it because I'm very nervous about riding on planes. So I'm like, well, maybe I'm just getting anxious to get on the plane today. And after I get to Miami, I'm better. I feel fine. I'm like, I think I was just a little excited. But then when I get back from the trip, I just got a new job. I was hired when I was on vacation. And so, literally, the week I start work, I get sick. And then it's turned into this cycle of me being sick every 2 weeks with a new job where my manager just put in their 2 weeks notice after I've been there a month. And it was awkward because I didn't know, couldn't talk to HR about it. I hadn't been there for a year. I didn't qualify for FMLA. I couldn't say, oh, all this is going on with me and I haven't even been here for 90 days. And it's hard when this was only my second job post college graduation and I'm sick and I don't really know what's going on with me. So I go to my primary doctor and I'm telling her my symptoms. I'm like, hey, every 2 weeks I'm just feeling very nauseated and the same symptoms. I'm waking up at 3 a.m. My body's burning up and I'm throwing up. And at this point, I'm not throwing up food. I'm throwing up phlegm, yellow and green, and it just doesn't make any sense. And my normal routine of a caffeinated drink and sour candy is not helping me. It's keeping me out for several days. Can you point me in the right direction of what could possibly be going on? The first thing my primary doctor says that I'm anorexic. Okay, granted, because I have thrown up for every two weeks, I'm weighing about 80 pounds at this point. But why would I be seeking the doctor's help if that was what was really going on with me? I'm asking for your help. I need to know what's going on with me. Don't give me the easy answer of, oh, you're anorexic or, oh, you're stressed. When in reality, I have always been a thin woman. So if that's the case, I came out the womb anorexic. And I think it was hard for me as a 23-year-old adult as society looks at me, expressing to my primary care doctor my issues, and she was not taking me seriously, to the point that I had to bring my mother with me to the doctor, which is crazy that an adult has to bring their mother with them for someone to take their condition seriously. When I brought my mom to my next appointment, I was scheduled for an MRI, a CT scan, and an upper GI scope. All of those things came back normal. The inside of my stomach, normal. The inside of my pelvic area, fine. My brain, everything was fine on the MRI. Only thing that they saw was sinus issues, which I know I have, but nothing like major, and a small cyst on my liver that I was born with, and it's nothing to take precaution on. So we're at this point that no one knows what's going on with me other than the answers of, oh, you're having anxiety. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to ask you, are you making yourself throw up? And it gets to the point that it's like, I'm not making my sickness up. I'm not trying to miss work. I'm happy. Like, there's nothing about this that makes sense to me. No one in my family has ever had these issues. It just seems very interesting. Then I come across this article in Cosmopolitan about this girl who says everyone didn't believe I was sick. And I was reading her symptoms, and a lot of her things sounded similar. And she was diagnosed with cyclic vomiting syndrome. Her brother, who was studying school, to be a doctor, had found this disease in his book. And I started to do some more research and really align my issues with what she had. So when I went back to my primary doctor, I showed her the article, and I was like, hey, do you think this could be something I have? And She was like, no, and you're starting to sound like a hypochondriac. Okay. I don't need drugs. I just need to feel better. So, can you not help me feel better? And when my mom comes back there in the appointment, then she's like, oh, we'll get you with the GI. I go meet with the GI, who I discuss cyclic vomiting syndrome with, or also known as CVS. We discuss the syndrome, and she says, oh, my daughter had this and it only lasted for a year, which made me question, did I have cyclic vomiting syndrome? Because if I had cyclic vomiting syndrome, mine has lasted longer than a year. And we talked about it and we talked about it, and she couldn't really answer the questions either. And what doctors don't want to tell you is if they don't know the answer, they don't want to seem like they're incompetent. But none of the doctors had the answers for me. So I just kind of stopped thinking about it. Every 2 weeks, I'm still dealing with these issues. I've gone back and forth to the ER. They don't do anything but give me some Zofran fluid and send me home. Because my chest isn't hurting, I'm not dying, there's no blood coming out of me. They're going to send me home. And at this point, I'm tired of paying $100 just to go deal with the same, get fluid, get medicine, bye. But then in March, I become sick and I am out for a week. I don't know what's going on. I don't eat. Everything's coming up. Even when I haven't ate, I'm still throwing up. So this is when my parents get really concerned, even though they were already concerned, but more concerned because I have never been sick for an entire week. And at this point, we are looking for anything as an answer. So we find a doctor who specializes in cyclic vomiting syndrome, which there is only 5 in the country. And we get an appointment. And I'm going there in July to get some more answers, to figure out what's going on here, because what all of my primary doctors and specialized doctors failed to say was they don't have enough research on this rare syndrome. And here, where I live in Nashville, CVS is only taken care of for children at the Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. There's no specialist for adults because it's rare in adults. It's already rare in general. So there's no answers. And they didn't want to say that they didn't have the answers. But stay tuned as we continue to go through this journey to hopefully on the road of recovery, on the road to a health plan, on the road to a better life, on the road to you keeping weight on the road to enjoying food and loving food, and just on the road to happiness. And stay tuned, and I hope you continue to enjoy my channel. Thank you.